relaxes me.
Isn't it, right? It does. It really does.
I've been catching myself as well, like taking situations more seriously than they actually are. I think that's quite a book. Like, catch yourself, like, oops, I'm taking it seriously again.
Yeah, that's it, man. Oh, it's so good.
I love you guys, man. I'm so blessed to be with you all. I love you.
We love you. And I can speak for the whole group because I know
man.
they feel the same. Yeah, man. That's right. Everybody.
Yeah, such a space, man. Seriously.
This is
Amen, brother.
The circle of love. It's a full circle.
Thank you. Exactly. That's what it feels like.
Yeah, full circle of love.
It's just the best.
You know,
Shall we-
yeah, love. Love is an expression of real emotion, of sweet sense. It's not loving someone, it's more loving your sweet sense, your actual sweetness in you. That's real love. But love always thinks it's about another person. It's not. It's that sweetness in you.
Yeah, I heard there's like 4 loves. There's like love for others, love for yourself, love you put out, and then that love that you put out comes back. So there's like different forms.
Yeah.
Oh, but yeah, it feels good, man. It feels right, and I love you guys, and yeah, creating with you and building this energy up. It's mesmerizing, man, and it's just exciting to think of all the beautiful possibilities that are going to come from it.
So positive, so good, so true. I totally agree with you. I really do. It's beautiful. It's just a beautiful
space.
Beautiful space. Beautiful. Oh, yeah. And doesn't that just fill you up when you have that appreciation of really taking everything in a real gratitude of saying nothing's taken advantage, you know, it's just pure bliss. Like, this is where you want to be. This is where you're choosing to be. Oh, it's just, to me, that fills my cup.
Divinity.
And I'm drinking it too now. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, you drink that tea.
Drinking my coffee.
Your cup is full.
Coffee's full, baby. She's full and rich.
It doesn't matter if you think the cup's half filled or half empty, as long as you know you can fill the cup back up.
Oh,
God, yeah, baby.
Joe, you're talking out your soul now. Joe, you writing lyrics or something for a song or something? I don't know. You're getting very spontaneous, creative with your words, and it's starting to get into a melody. Soon we'll be singing your songs.
Oh yeah, you know it.
Oh yeah, I know it. I know it. I'm telling you, sir. I don't just speak in vain. I'm speaking to you.
Oh, I feel you.
I know you do. Big love.
Humongous love.
All my days. All my days. Big love.
Oh, I'm just breathing into that bliss now, and I can feel my heart rippling.
Yeah.
Feel the energy pulsing.
Yeah, all that energy that you give out is coming back to you, double fold.
Tenfold.
100-fold.
1,000,000-fold.
A trillion soul. A trillion. Oh, God. Yeah, it's good.
Oh. Life's good.
It's so good to come into this space.
Yeah. Choose to
Just
feel
relax.
good. Yeah.
Choosing it. Just choosing it.
Choosing it, baby girl.
That's it. I choose to feel good and better and better.
Yeah. I choose to feel good. Yeah. I feel, yeah. And I
Now,
feel good.
I've got a bit of a quandary question. I'd love to invite you guys into hitting me back up with what you're feeling. And it's this. Remember when we did the exercise where it's like, okay, what would you be doing now? And it's like, yeah, I'd be reading, I'd be doing this, I'd be doing that to create your dream life. But then it's like when you're already there, the difference is you're not learning and growing, but you're actually doing and creating.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm always like, a lot of these books that we read, they're all like self-improvement and like growing books, but are we growing that old identity and putting plasters on that?
Mm-mm.
Or
Good question, Joe.
Mm.
that's it. I'm always thinking like, well, am I improving myself? Am I growing here? This is
Or
what
am I
it's all
going around in
about.
circles?
About growing. But then Chris says that billionaire told him that when you stop working on yourself and start working on what you create, that's when the magic.
Yes.
Yeah. Do we ever stop learning though?
No, I don't think so. I sure don't want to stop learning because then it's all the experiences you get
That's
to
it.
not
The
enjoy.
Yeah, it's the growth.
And what's nice
And the
about it,
enjoyment.
yeah. What
We
I'm
should
embracing, yeah.
Yeah, question I heard. It's up to you.
What's that, Pascal? He's been muted. Muted.
Because that's it. There was a big difference between like the old self and the new self. The new self's creating, writing songs, making movies. The old self's like growing to the point where he thinks he can do it.
Yeah, but that's the egoic. It's very quickly to understand if you're in the egoic or in the creative. You know, the egoic wants understanding. It wants, it's all self and assurance and confirmation. We're creative. It's just creating, because you're creating because you're loving it. You're really just going for it in the sense of having the experience, regardless of the outcome. You're just doing it because that's your heart. That's really tapping into your heart. And it doesn't matter about the outcome. Everybody thinks it has to be a certain way or how you perceive it to be successful. It's that emotion of going through that and having that learning experience. Because that's taking all the spice and the joy of everything that you do. It doesn't have to be, an outcome that is successful in your eyes or others. It's the experience. It's the experience that we're going for now. The experience of just having like you say, every morning we gather here, and then to think that it's the experience that we get to experience every day, something new that we maybe have known, maybe we heard, but it's just such a joy to be able just to anchor it in again and take it further, just that one notch, one step, 1%. That works for me. I don't need much. I just need that 1%. I just need that one yes. And let's go.
Yeah.
Honestly. And that gives a lot of no pressure on me. Because I was very a perfection that had to be a certain way.
Yeah.
And I was hard on myself. I was very hard on myself. And you can't, because as a human, you're gonna have emotions of sadness, tired. Maybe you don't follow through with your exercise. Maybe you don't go to bed at some time. Maybe, you don't do much of your homework, or something. Maybe you have some dispute or whatever. It's all what it is, but it's just that. It's nothing to go deeper than that. It's just that. And that's having no shame and no guilt and no condemnation on yourself. It's just going through the experience.
Mm. I just remember the big difference between where I was and where I'm going, and where I am now. It was reading and growing, but then where I was, it was more creating and doing it rather than getting myself ready. It was like, I am ready. Let's do it.
It's always that first step a person has to take, you know, till it starts rolling.
Yeah.
Like the one decision, and it starts rolling. One forgiveness, one acceptance of who and everybody is for where they are. Just that one thing can change a lot of things.
Success is a decision away.
Amen. Is it? Yeah, that's so true, eh?
You just don't know which decision.
We don't know. We don't know. And that's the beauty. We don't need to know.
Yep. That means it's making decisions. Right. Every decision happens the same way. The outcomes are just completely different.
But what I've experienced in this week, that I've had, for example, doors that closed on me, on decision, on business, etc. And then I thought, whoa, that's a deadline for me. That I got no, like, what is now going to come of this? Because it just was so like hopeless. And then I started to think, oh my goodness, where is my mind? Like, where am I putting my power in such a way that's giving them the authority over my decision over everything, my life, my health, my everything? Are you kidding me? And some things you make and you got to have a no, and the door closes, and I just said, now honestly I can say that there's something much more better that's coming.
Yeah, definitely.
But then that's always what got me, like with the better, and if something's better, then that makes this worse, and then
no, that's it. Yeah, I hear that. But it was the disappointment. It's the disappointment, you know. You get so disappointed in having all your expectations, and you work so hard, and you've done your research, and you put in a lot of time, and then, and like Jason said, you make the decision and the outcome doesn't come out. That's when I put my faith in knowing that I have to trust the faith that it's going to come to pass, and it does come to pass eventually. That when it comes, I will have the understanding. Just when you go through the trials and tribulations, when you're going through the difficult times, you can't see because it's so dense. But when you come over that cloud, there's the rainbow, and then that's when it comes through, and then you go, oh, now I understand. That's the experience. That's a human experience, I feel. So when I get a no, I'm going to get a yes from God. That's it. And if I get a yes, I go, thank you very much. But I don't put now any measurement on that anymore. I can take a no is a no, and I can also take a yes with a yes. I don't distinguish between the two now anymore. I just accept for what it is. And that took a long time for me to get there. Because I always thought it's that program that's going to do it for me. It's that person that's going to help do it for me. It's whatever. And I go, no. It's me that's doing it. The kingdom of God is in me. It's not out there. It's in me. I tap into it. And that's our genius.
Kingdom of heaven is within.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
That is how I was triggered with your question, Joe. Where's the power? And I can recall where I've done it, and I see it around me where people put the power in the author,
Mm.
and rather than as a conversation of geniuses. Like, oh, what can I take from this? What can I use? What can I apply in my life from what they're sharing with me through the book, through the talk, through whatever? And instead, it's like, oh, it's a what do I see with it? I see it's a, oh, they recommend it, so I do it, or they like there's just a different way. There's a different way to it rather than being equal with them. And it's like a conversation. It's more of a, oh, they're the expert. Let me see what they say. Let me try their thing. And it's rather than them trying it for themselves. That's what I've seen. Is that power, knowing where the power is. I have the power to choose to implement, to try something that they've recommended and work it my way. So it's all how we orient to the information. Because I don't forget that they're there to sell books. And if I bought their book, I invested in them. I invested in myself. My duty to get a return. Not better, it's just a new spice of life, a new spice, a new orientation, a new perspective. That's the best thing about communication. It's a new perspective. And I think that's the human journey of letting go of our old perspectives. Creating space for new ones.
Yeah, you buy a book, it's like buying a potential new value.
Mm-hmm. I'm orienting to, wow, what gold is in this?
Yeah, exactly.
It's opening, someone opened to their heart and said, here, this is what I got from life to give out. Oh, that's amazing. Rather than I was looking for tips and techniques before. Shortcuts, right? Or, man, what the hell? It's like the whole orientation is completely different, and it's so difficult to explain.
Yeah, I think reading it not from the view of I'm missing something,
Yeah.
What is it to looking for the gold, but not being attached or feeling like I'm missing something? Just
All information is good information.
They become fun
Information is
exercises.
only information.
And from that information, then what matters is what hits, what lands. Oh, why that? Why did they say that? Wow, what? Look at that perspective.
Yes.
It's opening.
Yes, with curiosity.
Or why did that land with me?
Mm.
And that's the only way it lands.
Very interesting. Yeah? Wow.
Yep.
So interesting. We humans are so complex. I love it. With all our differences. I love it. We are so unique and amazing. I gotta just share that right now. It's like, this is like, wow. It's amazing. And the appreciation, I think, is just amazing too. To explore our little world that we live in temporarily. Oh, it's good, eh?
oh yeah.
Yeah. It's good to be in the journey, right? It's good to be on the journey, on an adventure.
Yeah, to this day, I've always been called like gullible.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
I love it. I think it's a quality.
I love it too.
It's like, for me, it's like being open. Being open.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Yes, Pascal.
To
Definitely.
your belief, being open to everything, right? Like, you know, I thought I was really healthy and like eating well, all that stuff. And then like, I'm listening to a different guy, different perspective. And I'm like, wow, this really makes sense, you know, but I never thought about that. And like, you would say like society doesn't teach you that. And yeah.
What is one thing that he taught you?
A fruit diet. A fruit diet is the best diet.
Come on now.
We are fruitarian. If you look at our teeth and digestive system, and if you look at the teeth and the digestive system of primates, monkeys, all that, it's very, very similar.
Interesting. Wow.
So I'm experimenting with it. I'm not like all fruit diet. Not at the moment, but I'm incorporating a lot more fruit and fruit juice and making and then like he's saying like a lot of vegetable that we think they're vegetable, they're actually fruit.
Yes, like a cucumber and tomato.
Yeah, and like Brussels sprout and like so many.
Can you cook? Yeah, right? It's crazy. It's so interesting.
So many. And I was just like so surprised. And it had something to do with legislation like in the 90s. And but yeah,
I love that.
no matter what, like so like because some people are like, wow, this is so limited. Why it's like, well, you got about 3,000 choices. You know?
Yeah.
So And the other thing he was saying, he says, like, we're the only mammal that eats everything,
Mm,
you know, and everything at once. Like, we mix veggie with fruit, plus the meat,
mm,
plus the carbs, the fat, everything.
mm,
Like,
mm.
so, yeah, and then that's what keeps us sick. So, yeah, I don't know. Like, he's really challenging my belief system, and I love it, right? So, but again, like, you tell a friend
Mm.
that,
Mm.
yeah, that's what I'm learning, and they're like, "Oh, you're so gullible. Oh, you change all the time." Well,
Mm.
great.
Great.
I
Oh my
love
God,
changing.
that's so true. Yes, yes, yes.
I love changing, because if I'm not changing, then I'm not growing, and my consciousness
Amen.
stays the same, and I'm staying in fear, and yeah.
Mm.
So
But isn't it interesting that it's challenging your belief system? Because that is so true. With William Whitecloud, he talks about his wife, Christina. She never ate a piece of fruit her whole life. And one day she was in Africa and he said she took a bite of an orange, a piece of orange. And when she took a piece of this orange, she ate a whole bag of oranges. Because she just believed, her assumptions was fruit was just gross. It was just, not edible. It was yucky. And there you go. In an instant, her belief changed and she ate a whole bag of oranges. So it just proves to you what your belief system, it all starts with the belief system, what you're believing.
that's
What
funny,
is your
because
assumptions?
you said Yaki, and that's his name.
Well,
Yeah.
listen, we all zinc into this now. Let's not get surprised that we know certain things. Let's tune in. I mean, it's just the obvious, right? It's just going to happen. These things are going to happen more frequently, and it's not going to be a surprise where we're going to just have in a flow of such co-oriented, like how you say co-creation, yeah? It's just gonna be our conversation, and we're gonna finish our sentences. We're gonna be part of the experiences. It's all gonna be so natural what's coming now. I'm not surprised when this happens. It's just gonna be, and that's where it's when you're in the flow. That's when you're really in the flow, because things are gonna come up that you're gonna go, oh, did I do this or that? No, it just is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just gonna happen. You're gonna see things happening that it's got nothing to do with you. It's just gonna happen. And that's what's so beautiful about having you to be a I would say, vessel in experiencing all of this from a human experience. It's just gonna, God creation, it's just gonna show up in such unexpected ways that you're gonna know that it's not you and it's just God. And that's where you get to know that you can stay in that creative, because it's got nothing to do with you anymore. It's just about you expanding and you spreading it out to everyone, so everyone gets to experience it. Because you can't tell people, hey? You can't tell people, you can't advise them anymore. They don't want to hear. It is allowing them to have that experience. And I think this is what we get to do here. We get to allow to have the experience and to expand it, even regardless. And that's what makes it just more of an experience.
Yeah, just lead by example.
To take it in, and just take it in. Yeah, take it in. And it's learning. It's all learning. Don't you just love learning? Like, don't you just love it? I love it. I love it.
Yeah, and the other thing he was saying, he says, like, yeah, food is just information, right? Like, it's just like, it either builds you or it'll destroy you. You choose.
Well, right? Food is definitely information, because what it does is, if you don't mind, this is scientifically saying that you eat for health and you can also eat for disease. So what you're putting in your mouth is actually for your health, or you're adding to your disease. Or that's what it is. Food is medicine.
And the misconception about the fruit diet is like, oh wow, you cannot have too much sugar, right? So like people are concerned about sugar, but what fruit does, like it bypasses your pancreas, so it doesn't rise like your blood sugar. Just not like artificial sweeteners. So
yeah. Well, not every diet fits for all.
No,
unique.
not at all.
So this is what's so interesting, that maybe one thing will work for another person, and doesn't mean that it will work for the other. This is why you try out things, you know. You try out things that work for you, and whatever works for you, that's when you can put it into action. And you know.
Yeah, and he's talking. Oh shoot. He's talking about like, because he's a black man, right?
Yes.
So for the black community, like most people should be on fruit diet, but because we're Caucasian, I need to turn this off. But because we're Caucasian, like we adapt over the years to eat like meat and stuff. It doesn't mean like it's so much better for us. It's just we adapt. We're able to break it down. So we got the enzyme in our body.
Beautiful.
That we can break it down.
Yeah. Nice.
So yeah, no, I thought it was really
that was great. That's great share. Thank you for that information. That was quite
just information.
Just information. Love it. Jesse, did you have your hot water with lemon this morning? Oh yeah, he did.
I did.
Yes, you make me so happy. I just thinking about that yesterday. I thought, Jesse had his hot water with lemon this morning, and I'm gonna ask him this morning. And I knew you're gonna have it. I just knew it. I felt it. Yes.
Yeah.
And he's got his own lemon tree. I mean, are you kidding me? Whew. I would make a lemon pie with lemons. A key lime pie with lemons.
Oh, yum.
I make a great key lime pie, by the way. And it's all very delicious. A little condensed milk, but hey, you've got to have a little something sugary.
I love condensed milk.
We got to put a little sugar in somehow. But the rest is all natural. It's eggs and a little vanilla and all that kind of jazz. Lemons. So it's not that bad.
So, Joe, what did you get out of the question?
Kind of still where I was, but it's so good. I just want to put it out there. Because I'm reading a lot of books right now, and I just don't. I want to make sure that I'm feeding the creation and not the situation.
Look at that.
I think with the creation comes learnings. But I do remember him kind of putting books down, and it's kind of feeding that. Or when I get this, then I can do it. But then the other end of the spectrum is that I've got everything I need to do everything I want to do. I've got everything around me. But I just don't want to be reading and like putting plasters on my old identity. That's not what it's for. I'm doing it for my new identity. I don't want to be reinforcing the old, you know. So I'm just curious.
Yeah, books don't matter to that. It's how you orient to them.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I'm getting value, but it's just that quandary of am I improving and fixing myself, or am I creating the life I love? Because while I'm doing that, am I just avoiding the creation and just feeling good because I feel like I'm doing something? But is that actually helping matters? I appreciate everyone's thoughts and feelings around it. But yeah, it's been swirling around my head.
Question is, then how would you know?
Well, I think you said it in the sense of applying it, you know, not just reading it just for the sake of whatever, but like actually seeing how I can apply this.
Try that.
Create with it.
There you go. Try that. Here, I love it because it's like, why this book, right? I mean, that's always there because there's all the books in the world. It's like, why that book right now? Ah, interesting. Yeah. So out of everything has to come something, and all of that comes from nothing. Huh.
Nice.
That's life.
That's what all the people say. That's life.
For me, there's a step before applying. And that step is is going into my body and sensing, is this true for me? Is it true for me? And my body always lets me know if I take the time with it.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was an interesting video you shared with me, Craig, about that woman where she was saying that that's the last place that we feel it in his body. You know, like when there's something that's coming up, that's actually the last case, the last place. Before that, we can see it in signs in all around the world. Do you know? But that's like the last place it will come to us. You know, that feeling. But yeah.
Yeah, that's because we've never been taught to practice that. I mean, that's really what I'm discovering, is that's really where my power is. It's in my body. My body senses. Like, I'm not talking about hearing and sight and that kind of stuff. I'm talking about muscle sensing. That tells me what's true, and more specifically, what's true for me. And there's a lot of confidence when I act from there, from that space of truth. You know, I'm one of these people that spent a lot of time, like you were saying before, Joe. I've spent a lot of time in my life growing in circles and reinforcing a lot of stuff that wasn't true to me. So I realized that this is a whole new structure for growth and learning, at least for me. The whole thing about listening to my body and my specifically my muscles and fascia, because it always tells me the truth. I mean, that's why muscle testing is so accurate.
Cheers, Craig.
So for me, it's not so much about execution as it is about how I get to a choice. And then the confidence that that choice is accurate for me. That's a pretty new skill.
So I'll recap what I heard. Thank you, Craig. Was out of everything out there, some question, something, some question, something, if the question in this came up. Ask ourselves that, feel for it, which is then in the nothing, something comes through. Or could it be from the nothing, something, and then out of everything? I don't know. I'm trying to frame it in there too, so I just acknowledge that. The key was you had to ask a question, which means you had to choose something to ask.
Yeah.
That's focus.
Yeah, and as I practice it, I'm getting more intuitive about the question to ask.
And it becomes just a behavior that it's just moves through, so that when something's off, it's like that's what pays attention to. That's the something.
Yeah.
Why
Yeah.
is that off? Becomes the question.
Yep. Yep. That whole
like
practice is a new structure, brand new structure for me.
Yeah, me too. I love that. I love the fact that I can ask the question, what is true for me? Like, what is that? Because what's my truth and what's true for somebody else is totally different. But when you really get into that truth of asking what is true for me and be in the silence of just listening, then spirit speaks. Then you actually get the answer. And that is the practice.
There's your word, your neutrality, Joe. You're in neutral, right in the moment of now.
Yeah.
Because that next moment might be a different truth.
Oh, that's good. That's it. That's
What
it.
matters. And that's one point of structure. We're always that point of structure, that always now.
Wow. That's it. Yeah. That's it.
And we align it to the structure of what would we love, what would, like, in the context of where we're going, always to the context of where we're going future wise. Otherwise, there'll be no tension. And we can choose to put the tension in the back, like Pascal, in the rear view mirror. We can put the other point in the past. But that just creates the same thing.
I like to think is what the person I'm becoming do right now in my present, knowing in the present of having to take the action is actually telling my future self that is what I'm doing, because it's actually anchoring my unconscious to say that's where I'm going. And that's why the momentum of asking and keeping asking, that's when that what is coming into the whatever you choosing comes into your reality. That's when you create the reality from the desired reality. You bring it towards you by this action steps that you're taking. And I think that's the real, that's what makes it real. You're not just going through the motions or going around and around in circles. There's structure there.
And you'll notice the structure, the orientation is to the future. It is now to the future. It is that, it's the awareness of that, just in the words.
Yes.
Baked in. That's the power of words.
Bake what?
It's baked in. What would
baked in?
Yeah. Becoming is baked into it.
Oh yeah, yes. What you becoming? Yes. What you creating? What you becoming? Oh. What you choosing? Oh. What you're also allowing, because I don't read anything that doesn't, I don't read books or listen to things, movies or anything like that if it's not in for my higher self, for my highest interest, no. I'm very selective. I don't watch horror and crazy movies and murder and all that, or read something that is just gossip or whatever, or no. Very selective of what I'm watching, what I'm hearing, what I'm listening to, what I'm reading, who I spend my time with. Everything's very selective.
Selective requires a focus, which requires an intention.
Exactly.
Because the actions can all look the same.
I also like to think that I'm not in a box. I'm not in a box. So whatever I wear, for example, if I'm wearing a dress and somebody doesn't like my dress, that's their problem, not mine. I'm a spirit living. I'm just having a human experience having to wear a dress. That's when you get to being unique and what you're choosing and what you're feeling about yourself, not other people's opinions. Because like it or not, we're all driven by people's opinions as we came into this world, shaping us and telling us who we are and what we can do and what we can't do. And now we're just tapping into the real potential of knowing who we really were all this time. So yeah, we've been asleep for a long time. We've been asleep. So it's just waking up. And the best part is you're not waking up by yourself, because there's a lot of people waking up. A lot of people are waking up. There's a lot of people. I was going to go yesterday, I go to taxi because I was running late. And I said, nah, I'm just going to quickly just go with my instinct. I go into questioning. Should I go to Subway or should I take a taxi? I make these decisions daily, on daily basis. It says, go to the Subway. I said, okay, go to the Subway. I call myself and I go into the Subway. I meet this amazing person, complimented, started talking, took us right through to the station, got off. It was like the most amazing morning I could have expected, because I never expected that. And it was just so spontaneous, and we were talking and we are just general and da-da-da-da. And then I go to my appointment, that person going to his appointment. It was like amazing. I thought, what is that? It's fabulous. And I was half an hour before the time. I was half an hour earlier. So there was no rush. I got there, could write out certain documents, blah, 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 sit there, boom, done. And it was a quick in and out and back home, back going on to the next thing. And I thought, well, there you go. It's nice to tap into your discernment. It's nice to tap in to your, like, knowing you have, when you can just listen and go, what should I do? What is this? What this, that. You're not just spontaneous. You're not just like randomly just taking a chance. You're doing things on purpose, meaningfully. Like you want to get there. And I visualize myself at the place, at the time, ready, no problem. Got all my answers, and there, boom, gone by. And it was quite something. So we're creating, and we are creating all the time. We're in action all the time. No action is no action. It's action is action. No response is a response. We're all the time, but it's the awareness of just being really focused on what is happening right now. Like, what am I thinking? What am I choosing? Where am I going? If I get anxious, because that can happen, I get a little anxious because I'm not making it on time or whatever, I haven't got time. It grips my heart and go, no, release it, relax. And I visualize myself there. I'm there. I'm done what I needed to do. I made it. And that's what matters. And then go to the next. So there's no like pressure. I had a procedure yesterday that said it's going to hurt like hell. I went into a dread state. I looked and I said, oh my God. No, my dear, she's had a baby. I can get through this. This is nothing. So he says, yeah. So I said, this to the doctor. This is the worst thing you could have done and said to me right now, because right now my whole nervous system is going into a shock. And I actually spoke out loud. No, Nikki, you're going to be just fine. You're going to, if it hurts, it's going to hurt, but you're going to be fine. You're going to survive this. Freaking hell. You did it. And I said, is that it? He said, yes. I said, doctor, you can't like, hello. That's nothing. He said, oh, well, okay. I said, I was dreading. I was going into a sweat. I said, oh, it's gonna hurt so much. And then I literally took a breath and I said, Nikki, it's gonna be okay. And if it hurts, and I was really like thinking the worst of whatever it's gonna be. And then he did it. He was doing it. And I go, huh? Is that it? He said, yeah. Oh, thank you. I said, no. And that's dread, hey? That's dread for you. Dread. It's worse. It's like the neighbor of fear. It's the neighbor of fear. Before fear comes, dread comes. And you dread it. Like, oh, the worst scenario, the worst thing. And it hasn't even happened. And then it happens. And I go, oh, that's why I must just remember. I just remember, listen, I gave birth, man. Nothing can top that. I gave birth. So I just go back to that now and I go, no, I can get through this one. Because people put the fear in you, man. They put the fear in you. I was like, oh, my whole body just straight away just went tight, my chest and everything, my throat. I almost fainted because he said, you know, oh, this is gonna really hurt, Nikki. I go, oh no. I would advise you to watch your wordings because that is like, are you kidding me? So we had a laugh afterwards, but there wasn't a laugh before.
Yo, guys, my battery's gonna die. Yeah, I love you. All right, I'll speak to you tomorrow. Okay, guys.
Cheers, big love. Peace out.
Big love. Bye.
Bye, Joe.
Has that happened to anybody else?
I can relate, yes.
Can you? Yeah. Me too.
It's late to definitely one, you know, it's like pushed or late or behind. It's like I can feel it come in and oh no, not that.
Yeah. But that's been my whole life also, that, you know, when Pascal talks about the gullible, I was so gullible to that I'm not going to get it right. And the dread that came before anything, just even speaking, you know, even just voicing out something or needing to do something. And I realized that, wow, you know, what pattern came from that? Where did that come from? And it's obviously, I know where it came from now, so I can address it, you know.
That's
And
the
I can
difference
articulate.
than knowing where it came from versus, oh, I've got to fix it.
Yeah. I had to be hypervigilant with my parents. I had to be on my toes. I didn't know from one time to the next. So I think that's also, and also the emotional state of their being. I had to regulate that too, to make sure that it doesn't get out of hand, that it stays calm. And that made me realize that also where my anxiousness, and I realized all these things that stopped me because I thought it had to be a certain way. It had to be perfect. It couldn't be otherwise. And that's what I like about, you know, your cup. It can be half full or full. It's just how you choose. And now I finally can open that up. I can finally open that up and say, okay, now I can choose. I don't have to dread the worst scenario. And especially when Pascal talked about rejection, that people, he felt that, you know, rejection, that's the same thing, because rejection is like death. If you were taken out of your tribe, you would have died in the days where, if they kicked you out of the wilderness, you would have died. And that's why rejection is such a difficult, it's really painful, because it's like death. But what's beautiful about that is you get to really say that, yeah, you won't die. This is very important, that you won't die. And that's what I love about going back and knowing that you survived that and you didn't die. So you can allow your unconscious or your unconscious to not dread, just you survived that. So sorry you went through that. I'm really sorry you went through that. It wasn't right. But now, what are you going to want to choose in feeding? And that's letting go of the old identity.
Mm-hmm.
It's just letting go of the old identity. That's the way for me personally. And that's, you just step into it, because it's just knowing that you're alive. And with breath, as we speak about, and Pascal talks, and all of us talk about breath, you can breathe that in, and then you can say, okay, what do I do now? Next thing. We can have strategies, we can have the lenses to guide us, and we can have, most importantly, things that I do, 3 things, at least 3 things out of my list that I get to do. that I know I'm going to do it no matter what, and I commit to that. And that's just telling me unconsciously that I'm following through, that this is what I'm choosing. So it's not even something mentally that I have to think about. I just allow to experience it and say, okay, before I go to bed, I can say, it's a win for me. It's a win. Like in the mornings, it's win. It's a win, you know? Because I don't think you can forget, with beliefs, you can't change the beliefs, but you can change the perception of your beliefs. Because the ego is part of you. And if you can't shame yourself to a good diet. You got to love yourself. You got to love that ego. That ego was there for a reason. It's for a very good reason. But you just allow it to know when to use it.
No, it's that. I think it's the working between the unconscious patterns that were there well below, well before, and then the ego, which started creating the words. We talked about, Craig was talking about the muscle, muscle information, right? Muscle testing, muscle reflexes. Well, I was watching that baby documentary, and they were feeding them food as a test, right? And they said, of course, the baby can't, quote, tell you, speak it, whether they like it or not. You just watch their face.
Yeah, that's it, eh?
So the emotion of distaste is already there.
Oh, yeah, man. See, that thing Jesse, Pascal, that's what came to me, is that having to come to this place of, growing up, we had those instincts, but they had to be denied because we were suppressed with that feeling. And because I don't even know how to say I anymore, because now it's not a word to say here, but my experience was, I always knew in my heart that it wasn't right. So, but I had to suppress it. So I had to suppress everything, even everything, to anger, to every emotion. Everything was a sin. Everything was a sin. So it's like, you doomed if you did, you doomed if you didn't. It didn't matter. It was like, it felt like it was so, and yesterday came to me this word confusion. It came to me so strongly. I was so confused because I was a fear of the people that I loved, but I feared them.
Yeah.
And I also had to survive.
Yep.
Because I depended on them. It was so confusing. And that came to me yesterday very strongly. And I thought, wow. So now that, I can slowly, put this together in a way that, I can just understand.
So confusing for a child trying to make sense.
Oh, God Almighty.
And
God.
all have a unique version of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man.
We call them sabotaging identities.
Yes.
Sabotaging patterns.
Wow.
And it was nothing more than a reaction to our parents' emotional, unaware reactions.
So that's it. Yeah.
And yet we thought it was all about us because that was our whole world.
Yeah. And what's wrong with you?
Yeah. Yes, it always came down to that. And then what's wrong with me? And then I will do patterns that fit, that work, that solve the problem.
And that wasn't me. And that wasn't like, I'm just saying me, in my experience,
Yes.
that wasn't me. That wasn't me. It was conditioned because I had to apply. I had to apply myself to also protect myself. and it's not a victim,
Yes,
but it was a kind of a victim because
did.
I was
turned into it.
I wasn't in control, and I had no
Mhm.
say, so I was bound to follow through, you know. And so this is where I think the joy is coming, as going and allowing that inner voice, that inner child, to have a voice to speak and to be able to say what you're choosing now, you know. And that's the beauty of just being in the now moment, to say, wow, I can take my little girl by the hand and say that I'm here for you, I support you, I love you. No harm will come to you because I won't allow it. I won't
Let's do
allow
this
that.
together. Let's do this together. Which is, doesn't that
do
make
this
so much
together.
sense?
It makes all the sense. Like, let's do this together because I'm here for you. I got your back. There's no one else. Like, I'm here, you know, I got your back. And so I even, like, yeah, went to my childhood home, and I went into my room, and I got it to that understanding. And then I said, okay, now coming into my home now, coming to your apartment now, and look where you are, look where you have what you have. And now say to yourself, welcome home. That's letting go.
It is the biggest gift that we can give everyone.
And that's what I feel in my heart, because yeah, it's, you know, yeah, it's very uplifting, liberating. It's real joy. It's a zeal for life. It's, you go, wow, this is a life that I can now, you know, enjoy, big or small.
Holy, like whole, all
Whole.
together.
It's all together. Yeah. It's like a feast, you know. More than enough.
So good. So good. Now you said the word I, right? It's like you had some resistance to the I, and I want to make sure that it wasn't from what I said yesterday.
Mm.
Because I think the I, me, those are great. It's when the you, and it's like you in the context of you should, or you could, and that's the one that I wanted to be very careful with.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it can come off, and then the I, when it's ego-ish, that's the other one. So
Yeah.
but
Yeah. I got to use it in context. Like, yeah. Yeah, that's very, very
no,
important.
it's just the aware. I mean, it's
Yeah.
but I think because when it's I, then it's our experience, it's our demonstration, and everyone has theirs, and that's beautiful. And I got to watch it for myself too. I do it. Because there are times where we have to say we as a whole, like, have that experience. We're just not aware of it.
Yeah, it's interesting, yeah. Yeah, that awareness is so powerful, you know, like when you're in the moment of your day and you get to, like, just really get into the present of really getting into it, and it can be guided you all through your day if you just allow it. And it's really it is a flow, and not to say it will go as a flow, but it ends up where you need to be. Somehow it's not even to figure it out, it's just go, oh right, you know. And then you get to fit in everything that you're choosing. And even if you don't, it's okay. There's not a pressure. Because stress is it's a number one killer. Stress is the one that really takes us out.
Yeah, and stress is all because we are looking backwards.
Hey, there's it. Yeah. Yes. Yes. Yes.
I'm participating in a recovery group, and every time they say, 38 days alcoholic.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, what? But you're not. You just told me 38 days that you haven't drank, right? And it's like, but
Exactly.
you're still giving yourself the identity, I'm an alcoholic.
Powerful.
And it's like they want that to be part of their, I mean, the people leading the group, like leading the recovery, are saying that is what I want you to tell us. It's like, oh my God, no wonder you're just that's job security.
Mm.
No wonder it
Oh,
doesn't work any better than the placebo.
exactly. That's
But that's my
right. This
resistance to understanding that group.
very interesting. You know, that's
Yes.
so interesting because that's exactly what people go through in life. When I say people, I'm saying I don't know how to say it anymore.
Yeah, you know, it's perfect. That's perfect.
I'm just saying, generalizing people, they have to make something of something to say, oh, that's my identity, you know, or just make it known that, you know, of a problem orientation, like a problem, and then that's
Yes.
okay now because now I can put a problem to a problem because now that's the problem. But that's exactly what it is. It's the problem, and that's the thing where people can get off their titles and get off their labels and just choose it. Like, and that's also perception that somebody that also needs to guide them because they're in that innocent stage where they're coming to a big addiction and a major thing in their lives that they're breaking through. And that's why therapy and other when you collaborate and talk and go to meetings is vitally important because you need the support. You need that support. It's vitally important because actually with the gathering that we do is so important for us. It takes you further. It can take you further. You know, they say when you do it alone, you go one thing, but you do it together, you go further. And that is true. When you do it together, you go further. And that's why, you know, people always want to have something of a label to say, oh, now I've got an excuse because, you know, I'm this and I'm that or whatever. But when you realize that you've taken the action steps and you're out of that, and now you get to, you know, see yourself in a different light. But it's a transaction and it does take time. I mean, you know, and just like with everything, you know. Yeah. So
here's what I notice is that it doesn't get any better for them.
No.
Because they're still looking backwards and they're still playing this thing and they're still blaming that all the problems are a result of that. And it's like, oh my God, everything is just backwards. It's like, what do you want?
That's it.
Man, it's like the structure is just so dense. That's a great word.
Yeah. So true.
It's
spot on. It's so spot on. They tell you, and I can hear myself years ago, all the things, oh, I couldn't be because of this and this and that, you know, blah, 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 because I went through this and blah, blah, blah. And I made those excuses. You know what God showed me yesterday? It came through yesterday for me very powerfully. My younger sister, when I came to this country, was very despondent, you know, I was feeling quite like, And she said to me, my younger sister, 5 years younger, Rebecca's her name. She says, you know, Nikki, everything that you reject in yourself, you're insulting God. You're rejecting God. I said, really? And I mean, I actually said to her, like, what? She says, yeah, you're rejecting, you're insulting God because he created you. I'm just giving it in that perception of knowing because I was blaming my education, I was blaming my childhood upbringing. I said only about that and that, and she said no. And it just came to me, and I went, oh my God, no, I don't want to insult him or insult. No. She said, right, start loving and accepting and doing the best you can right now. And I said, okay. I took that and I said, okay. And I started that day. And that was 17 years ago.
Mhm.
And that was because of the first couple of months that I was living here.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what I came to realize that, yeah, that's what I came to realize.
Yeah, that's what I share. I shared with them last night. It's like every one of you has a genius inside of you, just waiting, clawing, trying to come out, and you're not giving. And just give it some room. And man, it was crickets, but it's like no one's heard it before.
Yeah, that's it.
It's like, and why you're here, like that crickets that are there is your resistance. It's why you can't have it.
My God. Wow.
Like we got to hear it. We got to hear it. Got to give space for it.
And stop numbing it, stop numbing it with substance.
Yeah.
Because it's false,
And replaying it over and over, replaying
Over,
it. Same story, same check-in
same story.
every fucking time.
Amen to that. Yeah. Wow. Well, like I said, that just shows you you give it time, but you also make the space, and I think more so just to, yeah, it's very powerful. It's yeah.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, I love it when someone says our success rate is 37%, and it's like, okay, I don't call that a success rate.
Yeah.
That's 73. That's a whatever. That's 73% failure.
Right.
Let's get at least 51, and you can claim success at 51%.
Yeah, I like that. That's good.
So that's just no more than the placebo.
Yeah, that's a placebo.
Structure. It's all structure.
Yeah, and making it up. Just make it all up now. Make it up.
That's what we do anyway.
Yeah, right.
We make it all up anyway, but what we're making up has been what we taught how to survive as the child, and we keep playing that, and the life keeps feeding it back, saying that's not the way it's supposed to be. You got to do something else, got to do something, and we just hold on to that pattern even harder.
That's right. Yeah, that's it. The victim. It is a victim. It's a victim mentality. Stay in the victim mentality. And that, I hear that. And, wow, it's so interesting. It's so interesting. And wow. I just like, for me personally, the day before yesterday, I just had a lovely morning, and it was one of those mornings where I just really, really grateful, because I know that the message is coming through for me. I'm not going to go into detail about it, but it was just nice, and it was very real, like it was like I'm talking to you, and it had to do with my mum, and we had this talk, and it was just lovely. But it was such a way that when you can really have the knowing of the real intentions behind the action of what was happening, not making excuses, but allowing to know that that was just a person doing her best. That's just what she was doing. She was just doing her best. And if I think about it, and her condition, and 5 kids, and did absolutely her absolute best. There's certain things of activity pools and you know, public swimming pools, and the beach was one of our favorite things to do. And I'm just giving you little things, you know, and the knowing that, oh man, if she could love me like that, how much more does God love us? And this is where we can see God in everyone. And that's when we see the genius in everyone, because we see each other's hearts, you know. And I think once that happens, all the assumptions and perceptions and what we thinking, when we really can see that that's a child of God, God loves that person too, just as much as loves you. And so how are you going to treat that person? You know what I mean? And how are you going to invest in that person? Because it's all the give and take, you know, what we sow, what we it's all beautiful when you think about it like that. It came to me in this week. I really feel that now. So now I'm starting to not be on the defense so much, than allowing to know that even if words don't come out properly, even if the behavior doesn't come out properly, I can go into my heart with curiosity and look at it and say, okay, let's have a conversation. You know, let's have a conversation and have a grudge. Yeah. It's so easy now to look and see, because the clutter and all the skeletons and all the closets out. It's sort of like open. You're open to things now. This is I'm just open. And I think this is what's so beautiful about having the openness space to come and just what's going to come up from this, and then take it from there.
Yeah.
So you're not conditioning somebody on your ideas and what you're thinking. You're just opening it up with questions, and then you let that person decide for themselves what they're deciding. And I find that's the way I want to raise, you know, just raise my child, that I can ask questions. I don't have to put my demands on him or my expectations. I'm letting him just make choices, and I'm giving him the open space to experience it, good or bad. I mean, when things don't go right or wrong, you know, whatever, that he can decide. And I love that.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have that. Yeah, I didn't have that. Mine was manipulation, control, and fear. Driven. Make one mistake, I was punished. It was no question about it. In school, no matter what, come home, that's it. No question, no answers, no nothing. And it's like that has to come out of your system. It's a body. I mean, speaking to my body system, my memory, muscle memory, and body system. And speaking to my nervous system and speaking to everything, because I realize when I'm calm, even if I'm on a highly stressed day, I can tap into that calmness very quickly, hey? And go, wow, that's interesting. Where did that come from? I tap into it very quickly. I'm telling you, it's like, who are you? Like, what is happening? And it's just calm, man. And I'm calm, and I'm on this train. I'm enjoying the train ride. I'm talking to somebody that, what is happening? And I'm experiencing all of this. I get to the place and I go, oh my God, it's what is happening. That is now conditioning my body to what I want to feel now. It's really remarkable. It's so powerful, Jesse. It's like,
it is.
It's something of new. It's really new. It's so new, but I realized, did I always have this? I think I did.
Mm-hmm.
Through the chaos, I'm still alive. I should be dead by now.
And if you ask those that were close to you, like how you explained it, and this is not to take away but anything from any of us, but if you ask those around you, you ask and they'll say, never was it that way for you. Never did we produce it.
Never.
And it's like, no, it
Never.
was, but you see, it's
Yeah,
just
never.
our view.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Yeah.
Everyone has their uniqueness to it.
Everyone, even my younger sister, she said something concerning my mother. And actually, my mother, in the end of her life, it was the end of her life, she said to Becky, you know, and to my other sister that was there, she said, you got it wrong. It wasn't like that. So
Yep.
Becky says, no, mommy, it was like that. She says, no, you got it wrong. Wasn't like that. You know, and the same way I told my mother when I actually had a conversation, bold conversation as an adult. I came as an adult now, come back to my home as an adult, and I sat with her and we're having a meal, and I look at her and I say, you know, mommy, I just wanted to say something. You know, this is what happened. This has happened. You know, and she said, no, really, no, it didn't happen like that. I said, mommy, you were there. It happened. She said, no, really. I acted like it wasn't. It didn't happen. And I think that was also something where I feel about apology. If you have hurt somebody, apologize. I got no problem with that, because I grew up never, ever being apologized to. You know, never, ever said I was sorry that I did that. And so that's maybe why my validation of trying to explain myself, because I'm hypervalidation, whatever that word is. I need to allow that person to understand. And now I can know that pattern and I can draw back now, because I don't need to explain myself. Because I don't need to speak about myself anymore, if that makes sense.
Well, I've got to go shower. We're getting on the road here, so I'm going to go get ready. Pascal,
Beautiful.
anything I want to give you space before we shut down here.
Yeah, I'll just share a few things, not too long, but yeah, it's like I only do the best I can do based on my information, my experience. So, you know, your dad that's beating you up or whatever, that's the information he got probably from his dad or whatever. Like that's how he knew how to raise children. That's you know, easy to blame. Who knows, right? Like it's not good to obviously beat your children, to abuse them, whatever, but I'm pretty sure that's all he knew, right?
Absolutely, yeah. There's no blame there. There's no blame. I mean, I knew that from the age of 12 already. I knew my dad. I knew his history. I went right down to how he was raised, because I had my other aunties and uncles. And so I always got feedback. I always found out. So I always knew. But as you know, that's not what we're talking about. It's just generalizing of allowing yourself to say where it came from, and when you have a pattern in the current reality, that you can let that go. And so you don't have to keep on, you know, allowing yourself to just be the same. You know, you can make a difference. You can make different choices, because you don't have to label yourself. I don't see myself as a victim or abuse. It's no way. I maybe have experienced that, but that's not what I walk with every day. I'm free. I'm whole. I live my life. I love my life. And I also broke that pattern, because my son does not experience that. You know what I mean? He maybe experienced other things, but he doesn't experience what I experienced. And that to me is broken the cycle. I've broken that cycle.
Yeah.
So that my child's children's children are going to be blessed and blessed and blessed and blessed, because I've done the work. And that's why I don't need to change anyone, because I do the work. If I stay in doing my work, being grounded and centered, it's not about what other people are doing, because I know eventually whoever wants to come along, they'll come along. But also when they don't come along, that's also my choice of realizing that I stand in my truth, because that's just what I'm standing for. I'm standing on my truth now. And that's what gives me the freedom to go on and have the joy and have the happiness and have the good life.
Yeah, no, for sure. No, I resonate.
Yeah,
it's just
and that's
based on your
what
experience, right? It's based on your experience.
Yeah, but it was the experience. That's not who I am. It was experience. And that's where a lot of times people can acknowledge that it's what they experience, it's not who they are. It's just experience that they went through. But now, no one's abusing me, right? I have more food.
Stop abusing yourself.
Amen. And I have more food in my fridge. I live in a beautiful home. I live in a beautiful city. I have beautiful friends. I have a beautiful family, you know? So it's what I allowed to say, that is what I went through, and allowing me to know by the grace of God, I can say I'm where I need to be, because I always knew there was something better. And I always knew it wasn't for me just to go through life being abused. Okay. I knew that life, there's after life, there's after death, there's life. And I knew that there's life coming. I always knew it. I always knew it. I don't know how to explain it. And that's why being here, it's just been a most amazing experience, because now I'm living it. I'm not just thinking it. I'm not dreaming it. I'm actually living it. I live the life I love with the people I love.
Yeah, you're creating the life you love. Because we're always creating.
Absolutely. And that's why I like when Joe started here saying how much he appreciates it, I could not even add any more to what he said, because when you're around people like this in this group, it is a lifeline. It's a lifeline for others to hold on, like, to say.
People expand you or they contract you.
Or they deplete, yeah. Right? Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, so it's a lot of appreciation, and yeah, thank you.
So for me, love, you know, you guys were talking about love, and love for me, it's foremost consciousness.
Amen.
It's what's expanding my consciousness, and what and the opposite would be fear. If I'm in fear, then I'm not expanding.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. So yeah, and work out on those fears. You know?
I like the fact when you talk about that, because what came to me this morning was sweet emotions. When you have sweet emotions, that's love.
Yeah.
It's just sweet. It's just flavored, and it's sweet, and it's edible, and people can be around that, because it's nothing that you're asking. It's nothing that is demanded. It's just sweet emotions.
Yeah.
And people will feel that, because it's energy. They will feel it. You won't need to say another word. You see what I love about this? You don't even need to speak. Eventually, we don't need to speak, because our existence, our presence will just ooze out, and people will feel that inspiration. They'll feel the motivation. They will just feel it. You can feel it already.
Oh yeah.
I feel it. Sure. I feel it. I mean, Jesse and you are on the call, right? Yeah. I feel it.
Mm-hmm.
I feel a very strong sense of like deep, like it moves me. It's moving me as I'm speaking.
Yeah, it's expanding you.
It's expanding me. It's energizing me. I'm creating. It's like whoa. It's like wow. It's like unstoppable. And that is why energy is contagious.
Yeah.
It just speaks. It speaks volumes.
Hey, I just want to change subject for a second. Maybe I have to talk to you in private, but my brother is coming to Manhattan next weekend
Oh,
for a
yeah.
couple days, just for a couple days.
Okay.
It's an organized group, and he was asking like local restaurants.
Honey, I got the places.
Yeah, so maybe
Oh,
like you can always just write them down in my
honey.
inbox or something.
I got Italian, I got Argentina, I got like you name it, I got it. I got Chinese,
Okay, that's great.
I know all the little Italy's, I know like all the beautiful restaurants, all the beautiful places to go see, sightseeing, main things that you want to see, just for fun, because you want to see it
that's
if
what
you
I
come to New
thought
York.
because you live there, right? So it's always
Darling,
nice.
I've been living here for 17 years. I'm a New Yorker.
Exactly.
Hello.
Yeah.
That's very exciting. Huh?
You say hello, so I say hi.
Hello. Are you there? Listen,
Yeah, no,
I'm
if you
gonna
can
go.
write, activities, whatever, like the best sightseeing thing
No, I'll hook you up.
You recommend and stuff. That'd be awesome.
I'll hook you up. Don't worry, your brother will be
I
very
just want him to
satisfied.
have like the best time of his life.
He's gonna have the best time of his life. Is he a younger brother or older brother?
He's an older brother. It's a couple of years.
All right.
Older. Yeah.
Nice, man. He's gonna have a fantastic time. The weather's warming up beautifully here. The weather is warming up beautifully. Let me tell you, the weather here is perfect. He's coming in perfect timing because it's really lovely in the summertime. In the spring and summer, it's the best time you want to spend. You want to spend New York you want to spend it here.
Right.
It's just beautiful. Yeah.
Oh, that's
good for
great.
Where is he coming from?
Quebec City.
How much? What?
Quebec City.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's from Quebec. Well, we're from Quebec, so he's coming with like an organized group on the bus and stuff with his girlfriend and a bunch of other people. But so we were talking yesterday, and then he was like, I'm like trying to find like local place. I was like, wow, I got the right person for you.
Oh,
so I was just thinking about you right away. So
yeah, cool. No, absolutely. Yeah, I will definitely give some suggestions, some ideas. It's going to be fabulous. He's going to have a lovely. Yeah, he's going to have a great time. Yeah, he's going to have a great time.
Awesome. Yeah, he's been a couple times, but like Manhattan, he just drove through, and he came one more time, like with buddies, like just to watch like a football game, something. But but this time he wants to walk the city, right?
Yeah.
It's
the best way. It's the only way to really like get to experience Manhattan is to walk.
Yeah.
And you can go like literally into one area to into the next area. You know what I mean? To Soho, into Chinatown, and you can go into Little Italy, and then you walk along Broadway, and it's like, come on now, it's like you don't get better than Cosmopolitan. Yeah, my dear, everything's here. It's the best. Nice. Honestly, it is the best. Yeah, it's a very beautiful city. It's a very exciting city, and the food is just out of control. It's just beautiful everywhere. And I'll give him recommendations, and you'll really enjoy his food.
That's perfect. I appreciate that.
Oh, you're so welcome, Pascal. I'm so happy.
Yeah, it's so good to have like someone local, right?
Right, of course.
It's like I don't want to go to.
I'm not local. I'm an uptown girl. Just want you to know that, right? Uptown girl.
Well, you've been there for like 17 years. I
mean,
it's like if someone's coming to Calgary, like,
Amen. I'll be hooking up. Exactly. I'll be hooking up too. You will return the favor. Let's put it like that.
Sounds good.
I'm just teasing, right? I'm just teasing.
Yeah.
I'm just teasing. Return the favor. Yeah. Alrighty. Well, I thought this was great. And I'm ready for my day. Success, everybody. Enjoy.
Yes. Yes.
Bye,
Thank you
Jesse.
all. Bye all. We'll see you
Yeah,
all
thank
tomorrow.
you.
Or the next day, whenever
Ciao.
I see you next. Bye all.
All right,
Thanks for a
take
great
care,
day.
guys.
Bye.
Goodbye.